Creating a check mark or an X mark, a yes or no field, using nested functions. In this example, I have a list of names in column A and an address in column B for each name. I want to be able to select a state from a drop list and get a check mark for records in the selected state. If I change, say, from New York to Orlando, I see a check mark for addresses in Orlando and an X mark for any other state. So, in this project, we learn how to extract the state by using the flash fill technique. We'll be then removing the duplicates. We'll be creating a drop list, a data validation list. Then we'll create a nested function using the find function, isNumber, if function, and a character function using ASCII codes. We'll then change the result of the function to a check mark or an X mark and apply two conditional formatting rules. Let's build our project from ground up in Excel. So this is my finished project. In the left column, I have a client name. In the next column, I have an address for each client, and I would like to be able to find out the clients to locate them by state. I created a drop list in one of the cells, and I would like to be able to select a state. And when I select, let's say, New York, I have all the clients in New York having a check mark in green and other clients having an X mark. So if I change my selection, let's say Orlando, I have a check mark for clients in Orlando, and the clients in other states have an X mark. So let's start our project from scratch. This is the same exact list of client names and the address for each client. The first step is to extract the state from within the address. And I do have many ways of doing this, but I'll use one of the easiest technique. I'll be typing NY, which is the state for the first address, and then when I hit enter, and then I hit Control E, I'll be extracting the states from all the clients. This functionality is called flash fill, and it could be done in so many ways. I use the Control E to extract the state from each one of the addresses. This functionality is available in Office 2013 and Office 2016. If you are using an earlier version, you won't have this functionality. Let me repeat it one more time. I'm going to delete all the states. And I'll start by typing the first state. What happens? Excel looks at a pattern and offers this pattern to me. In the first time, I extracted New York, and then I hit Control E. I could have used other ways for extracting the other provinces. For example, I can go to the Data tab of the ribbon, and on the Data tab, I have the flash fill functionality. I could type the second value, which is the second state, and look at that. The moment I type the second state, Excel looks at the pattern and offers to continue the same exact pattern for all the remaining records. So all what you need to do is to hit enter. So three different ways: the Control E, the Data tab, and click on flash fill, type the first character of the second value, and Excel looks at the pattern and offers to continue that pattern for you. This is called the flash fill technique, a very powerful, easy to use technique. Why did I extract the province? Because I would like to create my drop list, and to create a drop list I need a single occurrence of each province. So I'll use the result of the flash fill, select the entire column, and then copy it, Control C. And then I want to paste it somewhere, let's say in column K, and then I paste Control V. I need to remove the duplicates from this column, and to remove the duplicates, I go to the Data tab of the ribbon and click on Remove Duplicate. In the dialog box that pops up, it finds out the column, and all what I need to do is to hit OK, and I would have removed the duplicates from this column. The values in column C are not needed anymore, so I can go and delete them, and all what I need is this set of unique values to create my drop list. So let's select cell C1 in order to create our drop list. I could go to the Data tab of the ribbon and click on Data Validation. Alternatively, I could use the shortcut Alt-DL. When I hit Alt-DL, it opened the Data Validation dialog box. So if I hit Tab and then click on L, so I'll be selecting a list, and then I hit one more tab, Alt-DL tab L tab will be putting my blinking cursor in the source box. What's the source for the values in this drop list? I could have typed in this box the different values separated by commas. That's one option. But since I have the value that I extracted using the flash fill and the remove duplicates, I can simply select these values and hit OK, and I would have created my drop list. Let's say I'm selecting, as an example, California. Now I would like to put a check mark when the value is California, so I'll be using the search function. So I start by creating my first function, equal search, and then I hit tab. What are you searching for? What do you want to find? I want to find this value, California, but because I intend to copy my formula down, I hit the F4 key to lock C1. And where are you looking for it? I type a comma, and I'm looking for it within the address in the same row, but in column B. When I close the bracket, what happens? If California is in the name, it will return a number. That will be the starting number of California. Look at this. Whenever California exists, it's returning a number. Whenever California is not in the address, so in this case, it's returning a value error. What I would like to do is to convert the numbers and value errors to trues and falses, and that's very simple. So I'll put my function in the edit mode one more time by hitting the F2 key, and then I'll be including all the search function in another function that asks the question, is that a number? And the name of the function is number. When I hit the tab key, it will be evaluating all the search function, and now if I hit Control Enter, I was able to convert the result of the search function to trues and false, which simply means whenever my selection is present in the address, so in this case I'm getting a true. If it's not in the address, in this case I'm getting a false. Let's test. Let's say I want to select Orlando. So when I select Orlando and look at the values, note this address here. Note this one. It says a true, which means Orlando is in the address, but at the same time, look at this. It's Texas, not Orlando. But if I look at the details of this address, I find Panorama Mall, and it has an OR, which means it considered this OR like an occurrence for the state. So it looks like it's not case sensitive, and the reason for that, the search function is not case sensitive. And if I want to avoid this error, I'm going to replace the search function by another function that works in the same exact way, but it's case sensitive. So let's put our function in the edit mode, and instead of typing the search function, I'll replace it with the find function. The find function works in the same exact way with only one single difference. It's case sensitive. So look at this error for the Panorama Mall. This error will be removed when I hit Control Enter. When I hit Control Enter, look at this one, it says false, so I'm not getting this error anymore. Okay, I do have false and trues, but what I really want is a check mark or an X mark. So when it's a true, I need a check mark. When it's a false, I need an X mark. So let's include all these functions in another conditional function, the if function. I'll hit the F2 key to put my function in the edit mode and say, I'm clicking to the left side of the is number and say if, and then I hit tab. If all this conditional statement is returning a true, if all this part is equal to true. Okay, I hit comma. What would you like to do in this case? I'll be using the character function with the ASCII code. What are the ASCII codes, and how to use them to deliver a yes or no in Excel? ASCII is the acronym for the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It's a code for representing the 128 English characters as numbers. Each letter is assigned a number from 0 to 127. For example, the ASCII code for uppercase M is 77. ASCII codes from 65 to 90 corresponds to letters A to Z in uppercase. ASCII codes from 97 to 122 corresponds to letters A to Z in lowercase. In Excel, the character function converts the ASCII numbers to characters. Example, if I type equal character 65, it returns capital A. We can change the appearance of these letters by changing the font type. To deliver a check mark, we use equal character 252. To deliver an X mark, we use equal character 251. Now, let's do it in Excel. Character 252 is a check mark, character 251 is an X mark. So if it is true, I need a check mark, which is character 252, and then I hit a comma. What if it is false? I mean the value if false, argument of the if function. In this case, I need character 251, and then I close the bracket and then hit enter. So it looks like I need to close the bracket for the if function. I missed the last bracket, so I closed it, and I'm getting this strange character. In fact, these are check marks and X mark, but because these characters are symbols and they are linked to the font type, so if I want to reveal the check mark and the X mark, all what I need to do is to go to the Home tab and then change the font from Arial and change it to that font that will show the characters. It's a Wingding font, so if I select Wingdings, now I could see the X mark and the check mark. So now what I need to do, I want to differentiate the check mark from the X mark. So with the entire range selected in column C, I go to the conditional formatting on the Home tab and select New Rule, and then use a formula. I'll be creating a formula that looks at the first cell C4. I want to unlock C4, so I'll hit the F4 key 3 times and say if this one is equal to character 252, then in this case, what would you like to do? I would like to format in green. So with the font tab selected, I want it bold, and then I want to change the color to green, and then I hit OK twice. Hit OK and another OK, and look at that, all the check marks are in green. Let's create a second rule that formats the X mark. So I click on conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula, put my blinking cursor in the box for the formula, select the first cell, unlock the cell by hitting the F4 key 3 times and say if this one is equal to character 251, then in this case I want to format in red 251, that's an X mark. So I say I want it bold and I want it to be in red, and then I hit the OK twice, and now all the check marks are in red. Now let's test the functionality of our project. If I change the state, I'm changing it, let's say, to California. Only the occurrences of California have a green check mark and other addresses have an X mark. If I want to change it one more time, let's say to New York, everything is dynamic and everything is working great. If you enjoyed this training video, like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next training video.